Welcome back. Well, we assume the committee that is looking into that issue of sexual misconduct will soon come out with its report so that that issue can be laid to rest once and for all. Well, the state of the economy has been a point of discussion across the country. And this week, lawmakers in the Senate invited the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Minister of Finance to appear before them to shed light on several issues. Our next reports will be looking at those visits, what they discussed and what they resolved.
The Senate has expressed worries over the hardships being faced by Nigerians. Addressing National Assembly correspondents after a closed-door meeting between members of the upper legislative chamber and the governor of the central bank, the deputy chairman of the Senate Committee on Media says the Senate believes that recent measures adopted by the Central Bank of Nigeria will assist in putting the nation back on track economically. The central bank governor had appeared before the Senate to brief them on fiscal policies adopted to salvage the current economic situation.
We're very impressed with his presentation. He explained to us the difficulties we have. You have a press release already, so I don't have to repeat myself. Commodity prices, drop in oil prices, and the various shocks we've had in the system, a decline in growth for 2 quarters in a row, which means officially we're in a recession, and we need to spend our way out of the recession. And hopefully that is what is going to happen. He's optimistic with the floating exchange rate, and a lot of the stuff you've already read in the papers, but we just had a privilege of having him here at the Senate talking to us, and we're optimistic the economy will get better.
The Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, failed to appear before the upper legislative chamber on Wednesday to brief them on the 2016 budget and on other economic issues that affects the nation.
The minister ought to have considered the fact that she will be attending the Federal Executive Council today. But as it is, she has sent a message very late in the day to the Senate. I will not take it as disrespect to the hallowed chambers, but rather take it that it is an act of omission on our part. And I hope this will not repeat itself.
We must take her before we go tomorrow. And unfailingly, either she comes here at the end of council, we are still here, or tomorrow unfailingly. Because the governor of Central Bank herself made an effort to be here on Tuesday. And we postponed this the first time because of the Minister of Finance. And I hope that she will make it to today, or she'll be here tomorrow, because these are issues that are very important to Nigerians to understand where is the way we're going forward. So unfailingly, she must be here.
Recent issues bordering on the nation's economy and how it affects Nigerians is one of the reasons why the Minister of Finance is here to brief members of the upper legislative house. In the company of key officials of the ministry and parastatals of the Ministry of Finance, she makes her way to address issues of concern to many Nigerians. She told lawmakers what the government is doing to ensure fiscal discipline in the face of the recession, key amongst which is the reduction in recurrent expenditure. She urged Nigerians not to panic over recent comments by international organizations on the economy.
The economy is actually in very, very good hands, and we're doing absolutely our best to get through this difficult period. And I explained how we're doing that. We're being extremely disciplined around our spending. We're investing in the essential infrastructure. I gave the metric. We have released 74 billion naira to works in 2 months, compared to 19 billion for the whole of last year. We are doing everything possible to avert and to manage the situation, which we didn't create, unfortunately. I'm not too worried about the IMF projection, and I'll tell you why. Because IMF's job, one of their functions, is global economic surveillance. They've equally issued a negative report on Britain as a result of Brexit. So I don't think we should panic every time IMF speak. I think we need to be confident around what we are doing and where we are going.
There were questions from lawmakers. Most of them dwelt on how the federal government plans to mitigate the impacts of the fall of oil prices on the masses.
2016 budget
We have 2.2 trillion budget deficit. And I was expecting you in your presentation to tell us how far you've gone with the borrowings, because you said about 900 billion will be borrowed locally, another 900 externally, and about 400 from recovery from the loot. You haven't said anything about that. We want to know how far you've gone with these borrowings.
Right now, the situation in this country is very pathetic. There is hunger in the land. The 27 states can no longer pay salaries. The markets are dry. Nobody is selling. It's a layman's question. Nobody is selling, nobody is buying. There was a government where you tagged bad, but everybody was happy. Money was flowing and business thrived. We now have a government whereby 27 states out of 36 cannot pay salaries.
The minister told the lawmakers that 14 billion naira has been released for the social intervention program, while a total of 247 billion naira capital releases have been made. She's confident that this will stimulate economic activity.
We have been very honest and said we don't have money. We have been borrowing to pay salaries for at least the last 2 years. So the fact that states were paying salaries was actually a photo trick. It was not the right way to run government. And we believe it's time to be very honest. The honesty that we're now forcing, even on the state governments, is why you're seeing them expose ghost workers cleaning up their payroll. There's no point in borrowing to pay salaries to people that don't exist. We have to be very honest with ourselves where we are today. This economic team stands for honesty and for transparency. We will tell you the truth. Even if the truth is not palatable, we will continue to tell the truth. This government is not, and I can repeat, not immune to the suffering of the people. All the people that are suffering are our people. They're all Nigerians. As you said correctly, when it comes to suffering, there's no party color. There's no tribe. So we are working very hard. That was why we brought out the fiscal sustainability plan, when we realized that states consistently could not pay salaries. And we made that money conditional, so that even now, auditors have gone in. Those states that receive money, auditors have gone in to go and see, what did you use the money for, to ensure that it is not diverted. This Nigerian situation that we find ourselves in is not of anybody's making, but it is our collective duty to solve it. And I want to assure you that the economic management team is working incredibly hard to sort it out, and we will do so. I am not painting a rosy picture. I have said very honestly, we're in a bad place. But what I have also said is we will get out of it.
No doubt the nation's economy is going through some challenging times, and its impact has been very tough on Nigerians. Many are eager to see how some of the policies taken to alleviate the sufferings of the masses are realized quickly.
The Senate has also approved a 241 billion naira budget for the Federal Capital Territory. The chairman of that committee, Senator Dino Melaye, gives a breakdown of the figures.
The sum of 52,982,280,360 naira only is for personnel costs. 34,388,260,833 naira only is for overhead costs, while the sum of 154,744,280 naira only is for capital project for the year 2016, with surplus of 11,945,550 naira only. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, in considering this budget, time is of essence due to the exigency of work, as the two committees have harmonized already. On behalf of the committee, I hereby present the recommendation for consideration and passage into law of the Federal Capital Territory Statutory Appropriation Bill 2016.